What if everything you've been taught about manifesting, your dream life, is missing one crucial piece? Not vision boards, not positive affirmations shouted at a mirror. 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor discovered a mental technique so powerful that historians still study his private journal today, and the journal he never meant for anyone to read. He used it to stay calm while ruling an empire during war, betrayal, and a plague that killed his own family. And that same technique is the real secret behind manifestation. Not wishing, not hoping. Something far more disciplined and far more effective. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to relax a chaotic mind and start pulling the life you want toward you the Stoic way. Welcome back to Wisdom of Humanity, the channel where ancient philosophy meets modern life. Every week we take timeless wisdom from history's greatest minds, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, and turn it into something you can actually use today in your career, your relationships, and your peace of mind. If you're new here, consider hitting subscribe, because what you're about to learn isn't just theory. It's a mental operating system used by emperors, generals, and philosophers for over 2,000 years. Let's begin. Here's something almost nobody says out loud. Your mind isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it evolved to do, scanning for threats, replaying mistakes, worrying about tomorrow. The problem isn't that you have a restless mind. The problem is that you've never been taught how to work with it instead of being dragged around by it. Think about the last time you couldn't sleep because of a conversation that hadn't even happened yet. Maybe it was a difficult talk with your boss, or a decision about money, or a relationship that felt uncertain. Your body was lying still, but your mind was already living in a future that didn't exist. Sound familiar? The Stoics had a name for this trap. They called it living according to false impressions, mistaking your anxious thoughts for reality itself. Epictetus, a man who was born into slavery and later became one of the most influential teachers in Rome, put it simply, it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about events. Read that again. Not the event, your judgment of the event. This is the first shift you need to make before we even talk about manifesting anything. A relaxed mind isn't a mind with no problems. It's a mind that has stopped adding imaginary suffering on top of real circumstances. And once you learn to quiet that noise, something interesting happens. You finally have the mental clarity to actually build the life you want, instead of just dreaming about it while exhausted. So here's a question for you, and I want you to actually answer this in the comments below. What's one thought that's been keeping your mind busy lately? Something you think about more than you act on? Drop it below. You might be surprised how many other people are carrying the exact same weight. Modern manifestation culture tells you to visualize, to feel the emotion of already having what you want, to send that energy into the universe. And look, there's something to be said for clarity of intention. But the Stoics discovered something far more reliable 2,000 years before any of this became a hashtag. They didn't manifest by wishing. They manifested by aligning action with virtue and trusting the outcome to unfold as it would. This is the concept of amor fati, the love of fate. Not passive resignation. Not whatever happens, happens. Something much more powerful. Full acceptance of what is, combined with total effort toward what could be. Here's why this matters more than any vision board. When you obsess over an outcome, a specific job, a specific person, a specific number in your bank account, you create tension. Your nervous system stays in a low-grade state of lack because you're constantly measuring your current life against an imagined future. That tension is exhausting, and ironically, it pushes opportunities away because you show up anxious instead of grounded. The Stoics flipped this entirely. Marcus Aurelius, arguably the most powerful man alive in his time, wrote to himself, not for an audience, not for followers. Reminders like, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He wasn't manifesting a specific outcome. He was training his mind to remain steady no matter what outcome arrived. And paradoxically, that steadiness became the very foundation that let him act wisely, seize real opportunities, and build the kind of legacy that's still being studied 2,000 years later. That's the secret. Manifestation isn't about forcing the universe to hand you a result. It's about becoming the kind of person whose calm, disciplined mind naturally creates better results. Let me show you exactly what that looked like in real life, because the story I'm about to tell you is one of the most remarkable examples of Stoic mental discipline in human history. Picture this. It's the year 165 AD. The Roman Empire, the most powerful civilization on earth, is thriving until soldiers return from a campaign in the east, carrying something invisible, a plague. Historians believe it may have killed up to 10% of the entire population of the empire. Entire cities emptied. The economy collapsed. And Marcus Aurelius, the emperor himself, watched members of his own family die from it, all while simultaneously fighting wars on the northern frontier against invading tribes. Most people faced with that level of loss and pressure would have crumbled. Instead, in the middle of a war camp, likely by candlelight after exhausting days of command, Marcus Aurelius pulled out a personal journal, not to plan strategy, not to record history. He never intended for anyone else to read it. That journal survived. Today, we know it as Meditations, one of the most read philosophy books in the world. Nearly 2,000 years later, in it he reminded himself of things like, don't waste energy resenting what you cannot control. Focus only on your own judgments, your own actions, your own character. Accept what happens, plague, war, loss, as part of the nature of things. And instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is the right action right now, given what is happening? That single mental shift is what allowed one man to hold an empire together during one of the worst crises in Roman history without losing his mind, without losing his integrity, and while still making decisions that shaped the world for centuries afterward. That's not a coincidence. That's a skill. And it's a skill you can build starting today. If a story like that moves you even slightly, that's exactly why this channel exists. To bring you real philosophy, not just quotes on a screen. If you want more of this, make sure you're subscribed, because we go deeper into stories like this every single week. So how do you actually apply this? Let's break it into 3 steps you can start using today, steps that combine relaxing your mind and building the life you want. Because in Stoic philosophy, those 2 things are actually the same process. Step 1, the dichotomy of control. Every single day, split your thoughts into 2 categories, things within your control and things outside of it. Your effort, your attitude, your honesty, your discipline, those are yours. The outcome, other people's opinions, timing, luck, those are not. Every time your mind starts spiraling, ask, is this actually mine to control? If not, consciously release it. This alone eliminates the majority of daily anxiety, because most of what disturbs us isn't real danger. It's imagined loss of control over things that were never ours to control in the first place. Step 2. Negative visualization. Premeditatio malorum. This sounds counterintuitive, but stay with me. The Stoics practiced briefly imagining loss, imagining life without the things or people they valued, not to be pessimistic, but to reset gratitude and reduce the grip of anxiety about losing them. When you truly appreciate what you already have, your mind stops operating from a place of lack, and a mind that isn't operating from lack becomes far more effective at building, creating and attracting real opportunity, because it's no longer clouded by fear. Step 3. Act as if virtue is the only currency. This is the real manifestation engine. Instead of asking, how do I get the outcome I want? Ask, what is the most disciplined, honest, courageous action I can take right now? Do that consistently, every single day, and outcomes take care of themselves, because you become someone who deserves the results you're chasing, someone whose reputation, skill, and character naturally open doors that wishful thinking never could. This is the entire framework. It's not mystical. It's not about sending vibrations into the universe. It's about becoming so mentally disciplined, so emotionally steady, and so consistently virtuous in your actions that a better life becomes the natural result, not a hoped-for miracle. Let me know in the comments, which of these 3 steps do you think you need the most right now? Controlling your judgments, releasing outcomes, or taking more disciplined action? I read every comment, and I want to know where you're starting from. If you take only one thing from this video, take this: start a nightly journal, just like Marcus Aurelius did. Not to plan your day, not to write affirmations. Write down what disturbed you today, and ask yourself honestly, was it actually within your control? Write down one action you took that aligned with the person you want to become. That's it. 5 minutes a night. Do this consistently for 30 days, and you will notice something remarkable. The mental noise that used to keep you up at night starts to quiet down. You stop reacting to every small setback like it's a catastrophe, and slowly, without forcing it, you start making better decisions, clearer decisions, because your mind finally has space to think instead of just react. That's what manifestation actually looks like through a Stoic lens. Not begging the universe for a different life. Building day by day the kind of mind that creates one. 2,000 years ago, an emperor sat in a war camp, grieving, exhausted, surrounded by chaos he never asked for. And he still found a way to stay steady, stay disciplined, and build something that outlasted his entire empire. If he could do that under those circumstances, you can absolutely find calm in whatever's keeping your mind busy tonight. If this video gave you even a moment of clarity, do me a favor, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Wisdom of Humanity, because we release new Stoic wisdom every week, designed to help you think clearer, act with more purpose, and build the life you actually want. Share this with someone who's been carrying a heavy mind lately. Sometimes the right words at the right time change everything. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.